Back with the President finishing his reply to the State of the Nation address just half an hour ago now. Nasiphi Same, our reporter, is at Parliament at the Cape Town City Hall for you. Nasiphi, good afternoon to you. What reaction there to what the President said today?
Well, Stephen, as we listened in on the President's responses following the two-day joint sitting with the debate, various MPs criticising the State of the Nation address by the President, highlighting that they needed a bit more substance. To talk to us about his reaction as so far as the response by the President, I'm joined by Velinkosi Nihlabisa, the IFP President. Talk to us about your thoughts, but in particular we heard a lot of whispers at the time when the President said he was not going to make an announcement now as so far as the date is concerned of the election.
Thank you very much, my sister and the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. Today's response by the President unfortunately went short of the expectations of millions of South Africans. Firstly, he would have done good for our country if today he became bold and announced the election date, which will give confidence to our people that there comes an opportunity to go and give a new direction and a fresh thinking and a fresh start in our government through the election process. He missed that opportunity. But what he did, he continued from where he ended when he was making SONA, trying to project the ANC as a political party that can still be trusted. He used the response to once again campaign. The story of Tintwalo came back again. Yes, the youth he brought along, we congratulate them because they are employed, but we are sitting with 41% of our youth graduates sitting at home, dreams falling aside. That is what he should have concentrated on. He should have came up with a turnaround plan that in a period of 4 months, these are quick solutions on unemployment, load shedding, crime, and corruption, so that people of South Africa can regain hope that our government does have a turnaround at a short space of time. Unfortunately, he said nothing except trying to project an image of a political party that has worked for people of South Africa, that can still work for people of South Africa. Unfortunately, people are done. They are only waiting for a date to elect a new government that will take a new direction to rebuild our country.
But one could make the argument that the President has acknowledged the shortcomings of the governing party and also acknowledged the history, or rather the contribution that history has played in the progress of some of the things that the government wants to do. What would you say in that regard?
Yes, indeed. Today, unlike when he was delivering this speech, he acknowledged that, yes, we had failures. He didn't point them out, he was just general. And he said sometimes we took steps back and sometimes we had to stand still. People need a political party that will take our country forward. A political party that will have turnaround plan in a short space of time to deal with critical issues. If I were him, I wouldn't concentrate on young people who are already at work. I would concentrate on young people, the Tintwalos, who are not working. That you see, these young people are not working. This is a shortest turnaround plan to deal with their scenario in order to rebuild their dreams and ensure that they do not stay at home as they have done. This is what we will do on load shedding, which is destroying our economy, which is not encouraging the investors to come and invest in South Africa. He didn't go there. He should have concentrated on those issues, on crime. This is what we're going to be doing, and people arrested will be prosecuted at this shortest possible time so that we send a clear message that there is no space for crime in South Africa. It didn't go there. So it was not inspiring, except talking about Tintwalo, the few that are working, which we congratulate them. Of course, I want to convey our condolences to the members of the SADF who died in the mission outside our country. We want the families to know that we are with them. May God console them. They lost family members and some lost their fathers and husband. May they get the consolation that they are not alone in this darkest hour.
Thank you so much. IFP President there. I'll bring in the NFP, who also was inside Parliament here, listening to the President's response following the two-day debate by members of Parliament. Your thoughts, Fine?
Well, first of all, I think the President did, or attempted to do a lot of damage control. He spoke about all the successes, did not touch much on the weaknesses. But I think we must also be mindful of the fact that South Africa is a very large country. We have various political parties that are governing in different parts of the country. And all political parties, wherever they govern, have got weaknesses and failures, and they've got successes. I think what is not happening in South Africa, and that is that political parties, in the interest of the people they serve, working together with each other. And I think, the President raised that about the insults and the attacks, and that is what we often seem to be doing. But President has highlighted the successes based, and let us be honest about it, there are a lot of successes in the country, but equally there are lots and lots of challenges. And I think personally, you found your coalition governments that they attempted to put in place have not worked. My greatest fear is what is going to happen if there's going to be coalition governments come 2024. And I know some of them are raising the issue of why the President has not announced the election. Remember, there are serious challenges as far as the IEC is concerned. When it comes to the elections, they are not ready, in my understanding, and more importantly, there is even a matter before the court. So that's probably one of the reasons why he has not, announced the date thus far. But I think what is important to note that while the President admits there are weaknesses, what he is not giving us, how are we going to do things differently, address those weaknesses and find solutions so that what has happened in the last 30 years will not be repeated in the next 30 years.
And how best do you think that the governing party should move forward in bringing the nation into their confidence with all that is happening?
My experience as the parliamentary leader of the NFP is this: political parties, particularly opposition parties, seem to want to concentrate on attacking, insulting and abusing the ruling party, and I find that the ruling party as a result of that is defending itself, So I think what should happen is this, and particularly if there's going to be coalition governments must be put together, those that are going to act in the best interest of the people. Right now, coalition governments is about power, it's about control, and it's about resources. But I think the good thing about the President's statement today is that he admits there are weaknesses and there are problems. But what are you going to do about it? How can we work together to be able to address these challenges that we face in the country? And I think that's the important question we got to ask. And I think also us as opposition parties need to understand that we have constituencies. We serve the people on the ground. Screaming, shouting, attacking, insulting, abusing is not going to make the difference. If we have solutions, why not come out with those solutions? Let's talk about it. The issue of housing, the issue of crime. If we have those, let's talk about it. I see everybody in this country attacking the police officers when it comes to the crime. But it's not the police officers that are causing the crime. They are supposed to be preventing the crime. And if you look at their living conditions, but look at the socio-economic conditions under which our people live. If you're not going to have an holistic approach to this, you're not going to solve that problem. Job creation, exactly the same thing. Look at your manufacturing sector. It's shut down almost. The cheap imports are coming into the country. If you're not going to address that and make sure that the working conditions are addressed and the cost of doing business, if you don't address those things, you're not going to enhance those manufacturing. So we need to also understand that we have a very high population growth in this country. And your economic growth is not speaking to your population growth. So you're leaving many people behind. And that's also giving rise to the high levels of crime in the country.
We'll have to leave it there. Sheikh Imam there of the NFP. Mixed reactions from the opposition parties who were inside Parliament listening to the President's response following that two-day SONA debate after the State of the Nation address, which was held last week. Basically, the NFP highlighting that as political parties or opposition parties sitting on the opposition benches, they are calling on the governing party to look at them as well and see how best to move the country forward as a unity, seeing that we are leading up to the general elections, is saying that the various political parties can make a difference in moving the country forward, as we heard the President highlighting where the country comes from, the history that is impacting the growth of the country, including some of the strides that government has made, and also highlighting that they are working to ensure that they address some of those challenges.
Nasiphi Same, thanks very much indeed, live from Parliament, sitting today in the Cape Town City Hall. Well, in a moment.